Graduating high school. Graduating is one of our life's first great milestones. After spending 12 years of our life going to school, counting down the years till we graduate, it's no doubt that when the day finally comes, it's a huge accomplishment. This past June, I had just graduated high school actually. During this time, I had gone to 3 different grad parties back to back to back, and at 2 out of 3 of these parties, well, let's just say I got lit. I'm going to be focusing on only one of the parties for this video. If you want to hear the other story, feel free to DM me either on Instagram or Discord. The link for those are going to be in this description. So, without further ado, this is the time I got it at my own graduation. Okay, so a little backstory. I'd gone to 2 different high schools, and this grad party was actually for my old school that I had spent grades 9 to 10 in. James had gone to this school here, so he decided to bring me as his +1 to the party. So me and James meet up earlier in the day, and we get ready to go to the party. Bro, this party was going to be held on some student's property who lived way out in the sticks. I'm talking like 45 minutes away from our neighborhood. The reason it was held at this kid's house was because his parents had some relation and involvement in the school or something. I don't really know. So since we weren't able to drive there ourselves because the school required a designated driver there and back, James's dad ended up giving us a ride there. So once we pulled up on the property, I see a couple of my old buddies and say hi, you know, the usual greeting. Then out of the forest comes this dude, Kalen. Bro, Kalen was someone's older brother who was like 2 years older than us, and I hadn't seen this guy in years. As soon as me and James notice him, we lock eyes with Kalen, and without any words exchanged, we run across the dirt road into the ditch by where all the cars were parked, and then started our own little spot. This was only 15 minutes after arriving. So about 5 minutes later, after our little and catching up, we emerge from the ditch, already pretty but not too. We begin walking to the giant outdoor tent and look around. Now they went all out for this. I'm talking grad decor, lights in the tent, stringy fairy lights outside. It was unbelievable. They put a lot of effort into this. This kid's family had turned their garage into like a snack and drink bar too. It was crazy. Now this time it was around 4:30 and we weren't going to be leaving till like 2:30. So we had quite a long ways to go. Dinner was supposed to be served at 6, so while waiting, me and James just start walking around the property, chatting, you know, until we notice a small path that leads into a forest. Naturally, while we follow the path and we see a familiar face of someone we were chill with. Anthony. We said, hey, what's up, caught up for a bit, and we got to meet his girlfriend who was also super chill. Then, James pulls out the medicinal herb. Within minutes, we were once again snitching, not even 30 minutes after our first round. So as we once again emerge from the forest, I see some of my old teachers. I try and avoid them because obviously I was hated beyond belief and any conversation between them would end in a disaster. So me and James walk to the tent and I sit down at my table with James. Remember when I mentioned a snack and drink bar? Well bro, let me just say that came in clutch right about now. So I make my way over to the garage and I'm greeted with so many snacks. So I shove a bunch of snacks in my pockets trying to be conspicuous about it. But bro, I just know for a fact I look stupid and so obvious with my suit pockets bulging out. So as I walk back, I sit down on the table and lift my head up to talk to James. And bro, I am not joking. Right beside him, I notice one of my old teachers sit down at our table. Now James is good at holding conversations when I am not. Now, what if I told you that this school was a French immersion school? Bro, I could barely even understand English, so imagine a whole other language. Once my teacher notices me, his eyes light up, and it goes a little something like this.
Eh, Nick, je n'ai pas vu depuis un moment. Comment tu vois obtenu ton diplôme, oui? Et comment est l'autre école, mon ami? Et tu es bien, oui?
I got up and I walked away. I could not understand him for the life of me. James slowly follows me after giving some sort of explanation, and we sort of just walk around the property for a bit. We ended up pulling out a couple of stars just like as a little celebratory thing we'd always said we wanted to do at our grad. So We do that, and we flick a pic, you know. It was about 6 o'clock now. Once we sit down and dinner starts rolling out, I was more sober than I was, so I was actually able to hold a conversation, which, to be honest, was a good thing, because I wanted to enjoy this delicious delicacy in which was being served to us. So food is served to us, and I take a bite of it, and it is so underwhelming. But the bread. Bro, all I ate was bread. I'm not joking. I had like 6 pieces of that. It was so good. Everything else, like I said, was meh. So with dinner done and the sun setting, all the tables get cleared and put away. The parents and siblings leave, and a scruffy DJ comes out of nowhere and sets up shop. This means it's go time. Now this section of the party, nothing that interesting happens that would actually be worth the production time of this video. So I'm going to sum it up. For the next 2-3 hours, me and James just talk, have a couple drinks, talk with some other buddies, and such. Now what transpired after this time is where it gets interesting again. Everyone's absolutely either high as a kite or drunk as a father in the 50s. When I say everyone, I mean it. I go up to some of my old friends, so as I'm chatting it up with them, we hear a huge pop and a crack. Now yo, I live in Canada, I don't live in the US. If I lived in the US, I would have immediately thought it was something else. But again, we were out in the boonies. If there was some crazy person with a rifle, we were all screwed. But wrong. We look outside of the giant tent and there are fireworks. So many fireworks. Everyone's admiring them in their intoxicated state and having a good time. Until the family who was hosting it goes, "We don't know who's firing those off." So everyone was pretty confused on who was actually setting off the fireworks. So maybe it was just some spirit out in the sticks who loved to party. I don't know. Once the fireworks show had ended, me and James walked back to our little table and continued to chat and reminisce about things we'd done the past 4 years. Eventually some girl came up to us and said, "Don't tell anyone, okay?" And I was pretty confused. I just said, okay. Bro, this girl proceeded to yak up a storm right beside our table, then just like nothing ever happened, went to go get another drink. Then James proceeded to explain to me that if anyone catches you throwing up, you are cut off from drinks and had to go home. Which, I mean, I guess is understandable, but again, it's graduation time, come on! About 5 minutes later, another person comes, throws up there, then another person about 10 minutes later, then another, then another, then another. Obviously, me and James had decided to move to a different table because I guess that was just the designated vomit spot. So we decided to move to another table, and as we're doing so, we hear Angel of the Morning. Now, the reason why this is so significant is because back in the 10th grade, in me and James's gym class, we had to do a mandatory dance unit. So me and James thought it'd be funny to make our own rendition of the famous scene from Dirty Dancing, but with this song. Long story short, we did it all. Yes, even the lift. We did very good on that project. So after about 2 minutes of him trying to persuade me and James do the dance in front of everyone at the grad. Yes, even the lift. And I had partied like I never had before. People were also starting to clear out, so we got James's dad to come get us, and he did. So on the way home, I don't really remember much. These past 4 days had been nothing but parties, convocations, and grad. So once I got home, it was around 3:30, and I felt a sudden urge to yak, but I didn't. I spent the next hour and a bit hanging my head over the toilet. This was miserable, you guys. I was so tired. I remember I would hold my head up over the toilet. Every time I would do so, I would fall asleep, and the way I would end up waking up is because I would hit my head on the toilet after it slipped out of my hands. Oh, and on top of that, I had to be up the next day for 7 a.m. for my own graduation thing and a photo shoot. If there's one thing I learned, it's, yeah, I didn't learn anything. I enjoyed myself. Thank you guys all for watching. Join the Discord and follow my Insta for any updates. Thank you so much. I love you all, and to all of my lovely subscribers.
It's all a break, and somebody's right. You better mind your business. Ain't gonna be no witness. Just you and me, hilarious. Bye bye, wife to Jesus. Gonna bring me